Buckle up because the US election system is a wild ride. It's a complex process, full of twists and turns. This system determines who leads the country. From the president to local officials, every vote matters. The US system is decentralized. This means that each state has a big say in how elections are run. Think of it like a giant potluck where everyone brings their own dish. This system has its quirks. It's important to understand how it works. Why? Because your vote is your voice. So let's dive in and break it all down. Get ready to learn about primaries, the Electoral College, and more. The US election system operates on 3 levels: federal, state, and local. It's like a layer cake of democracy, with each layer having its own flavor. Federal elections are the big kahuna. This is where we elect the president and members of Congress. These elections happen every 2 years. State elections focus on state-specific issues. Governors, state senators, and state representatives are on the ballot. Local elections are about your community. Mayors, city council members, and school board members are chosen. These elections directly impact your daily life. Each level is important. Together, they make up the fabric of American democracy. The presidential election is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires endurance, strategy, and a lot of hard work. Candidates must be prepared for a long journey filled with numerous challenges and opportunities. It's a long and winding road to the White House. The path is fraught with obstacles, but also moments of triumph. Each step brings the candidates closer to their ultimate goal. It all starts with hopeful candidates throwing their hats in the ring. They announce their intentions to run for the highest office in the land, often with grand speeches and promises of change. First up, we have primaries and caucuses. These are the initial battles in the long war for the nomination. They are crucial in determining which candidates have the support of the party's base. These are like the preliminary rounds of a boxing match. Candidates spar with each other, trying to land the best punches and win over the audience. Candidates from the same party compete against each other. They debate policies, showcase their visions, and try to prove they are the best choice to lead the party. Primaries are like regular elections. Voters cast secret ballots. Each vote is a step towards determining the party's nominee. Caucuses are more like town hall meetings. They are gatherings where party members discuss the candidates and their platforms in detail. People gather to discuss and vote publicly. It's a more interactive and communal way of selecting a candidate, often leading to lively debates and discussions. The winners of these state contests win delegates. Delegates are like points in a game. The more delegates a candidate has, the closer they are to securing the nomination. The candidate with the most delegates wins the party's nomination. This is a significant milestone, marking the end of the primary season and the beginning of the general election campaign. Then comes the National Convention. It's a grand event where the party comes together to celebrate and unify behind their chosen candidate. It's a big party where each party officially announces its nominee for president. The convention is filled with speeches, celebrations, and a sense of anticipation for the final phase of the election. Now, here's where things get interesting. The process of electing the President of the United States is not as straightforward as it might seem. While many people believe that their vote directly decides the next president, the reality is a bit more complex. The US president isn't directly elected by the people. Instead, the election is determined by a system known as the Electoral College. This system has been in place since the founding of the country and plays a crucial role in how votes are counted and ultimately, how the president is chosen. So, what exactly is the Electoral College? It's a group of representatives or electors who are chosen by the voters in each state. These electors then cast the official votes for president and vice president. The number of electors each state gets is based on its population, which means states with larger populations have more electors. Think of it like this. Each state gets a certain number of electors based on its population. For example, California, being the most populous state, has 55 electors, while a smaller state like Wyoming has just 3. This distribution aims to balance the influence of both large and small states in the election process. It's like a point system. Each state has a set number of points or electoral votes, and the candidate who wins the majority of votes in a state usually takes all of that state's points. This is why you often hear about candidates focusing their campaigns on so-called swing states, where the outcome is uncertain and could go either way. On election day, when you vote for president, you're actually voting for a group of electors. These electors are typically chosen by the political parties and are loyal to their party's candidate. So, if you vote for a Democratic candidate, you're really voting for Democratic electors, and the same goes for Republican candidates. These electors have pledged to vote for your chosen candidate. After the general election, they meet in their respective states to cast their official votes for president and vice president. This usually happens in December, a few weeks after the general election. The candidate who wins the popular vote in a state usually gets all of that state's electoral votes. This is known as the winner-takes-all system, and it applies in all but two states, Maine and Nebraska, which use a proportional system to allocate their electoral votes. This is called the winner-takes-all system. It means that even if a candidate wins by just a small margin in a state, they still get all of that state's electoral votes. This can lead to situations where a candidate wins the Electoral College but loses the national popular vote. To win the presidency, a candidate needs to win at least 270 electoral votes. This is the majority of the 538 total electoral votes available. Reaching this threshold is the ultimate goal for any presidential campaign. It's a race to the finish line. The candidate who reaches 270 electoral votes first is declared the winner and becomes the next president of the United States. This unique system ensures that every state has a voice in the election, making the race for the presidency a truly national contest. Section 5. Casting your ballot, making your voice heard. Voting is a fundamental right and a civic duty. It is the cornerstone of democracy, allowing citizens to have a say in how their country is run. By voting, you are participating in a process that has shaped nations and changed the course of history. It's your chance to make your voice heard and shape the future of the country. Every vote counts, and your participation can influence important decisions on policies, leadership, and the direction of your community and nation. The process is pretty straightforward. Whether you're a first-time voter or a seasoned participant, the steps are designed to be simple and accessible to everyone. First, you need to register to vote. This is an essential step to ensure that you are eligible to participate in the elections. Registration can be done in various ways to accommodate different needs and preferences. This can usually be done online or at your local election office. Many states also offer registration at public events, libraries, and other community locations to make it as convenient as possible. On Election Day, you can cast your ballot at your designated polling place. It's important to know where your polling place is located and what the hours of operation are. Polling places are usually located in schools, community centers, or other public buildings. These locations are chosen to be easily accessible to the majority of voters. If you can't make it to the polls on Election Day, you can vote early or by mail. Early voting periods and mail-in voting options provide flexibility for those with busy schedules or mobility issues. This makes voting more convenient and accessible. It ensures that everyone has the opportunity to participate regardless of their circumstances. Once the polls close, the votes are counted. This is a meticulous process to ensure that every vote is accurately recorded and tallied. The results are then certified by each state. This certification process is crucial for maintaining the integrity and transparency of the election, ensuring that the final results reflect the will of the people. Section 6, Election Day and beyond. Key dates to remember. Mark your calendars. There are some key dates to keep in mind during an election year. Election Day is always the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. This year it falls on November 5th. After Election Day, states have until December 11th to certify their election results. Then on December 17th, the electors meet in their respective states to cast their votes for president. The new Congress meets on January 6th to count the electoral votes and officially declare the winner. Finally, the president-elect is sworn into office on January 20th. Section 7. The 2024 election, a historic moment. The 2024 election is shaping up to be a historic one. Donald Trump is back for a second term. He defeated Kamala Harris, who became the Democratic nominee after Joe Biden's withdrawal. Trump's running mate is J.D. Vance. They will be inaugurated on January 20th, 2025. This election is a testament to the enduring power of American democracy. It's a reminder that every vote counts. The outcome of this election will have far-reaching consequences. It's important to stay informed and engaged throughout the process. Section 8. The importance of understanding the U.S. election system. The U.S. election system is the cornerstone of American democracy. It's how we, the people, choose our leaders. Understanding this system is crucial for informed citizenship. It empowers you to participate in the democratic process. By knowing the rules of the game, you can make your voice heard and hold elected officials accountable. So take the time to learn about the election process. It's an investment in the future of our nation. Section 9. Safeguarding democracy, the role of informed citizens. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires active participation from all of us. As informed citizens, it's our duty to stay engaged in the political process. This means staying informed about the issues. It also means holding our elected officials accountable. We can do this by contacting our representatives, attending town hall meetings, and voting in every election. Remember, the future of our democracy depends on an informed and engaged citizenry. Let's work together to safeguard this precious right.